So, welcome back to the Young Professionals podcast. I'm here today with Tamzin, Kerai and Paul from Mott MacDonald. So, welcome to the show and thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so in terms of how this podcast is going to work, so we've got some students listening in from home today, all kind of thinking about a career maybe within the engineering and construction industry. So it would be great if we could just go around and introduce yourselves, kind of tell us who you are, what you do at Mott MacDonald, and maybe how you came into your apprenticeship. So Tamzin, we'll start with yourself.
Yes, I'm Tamzin Love, so I'm a level 6 degree apprentice project manager. So I work within built environment at Mott MacDonald. So I work on 3 different projects, from social housing to affordable living, as well as some schools and cities.
Yeah. That's great. Kerai?
So I'm Kerai, I'm a level 6 apprentice. I've been at Mott for about 3.5 years. I currently work within the highways practice, so working on major highways across the country. And right now I'm just working on HST.
Okay, no, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm Paul. I'm an information management apprentice at Mott MacDonald, and it's my first year in the course. And I think information management is a very sort of something that people don't understand what it is. So what information management sort of is it's implementing digital solutions into what Mott MacDonald does on projects. So it's looking at how can we increase efficiency digitally and get the best outcomes from projects digitally.
No, that sounds great. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us on the show here today. So the first question I want to kind of ask, and maybe Tamzin, I'll come to you, is who are Mott MacDonald?
So Mott MacDonald, so we're a digital engineering management development company. So we're the largest employer and company in the world. So we've got offices all across Europe and Australia, America. So we're typically stated as an engineering company, but we offer all different jobs. So as I said, project management, quantity surveying, cost control, engineering, information management. So it's a massive wide range.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I guess in terms of the opportunities at Mott MacDonald, so I know that you're all on an apprenticeship at the moment. Could you tell us a little bit more about your programme, maybe something really exciting that you've been involved with recently?
Yes, so as a degree apprentice, I work full-time, 4 days, and then I have a day release for my university. So we get really involved in the projects, so we work with clients and contractors, networking, meeting client demands. I'm in construction, in built environments. So we obviously build houses and schools and also leisure centres and also just trying to open up the market. So one of them's a Gascoigne estate embarking. So we're working on Block I and J, but it's a huge project, bringing more affordable housing to the UK.
Yeah, no, I guess, what's it like working on some of these huge projects? I guess from the early concept stage to actually seeing something that you've kind of designed, built in the flesh.
It's a bit overwhelming to start with, because you really do learn. There's something we follow called the Reba stages. So you go right from the design of it being on paper and working with the client to kind of figure out what they want, to then actually going into construction. And it's amazing with my apprenticeship, because I learn about, I'm in construction management. So you learn about how obviously to build a house, and then you see it right in front of you. It is really, really amazing. And obviously the money that is invested in it is truly amazing as well. So yeah, it's seeing it in flesh and then doing like the topping out ceremony. So one of my projects is at handover at the moment. So it's going to, from where it was not even being built on site to now it being handed over and actually seeing people live in it is just, it's just really lovely. It's rewarding, really. Yeah,
no, that's great. And I guess joining Mott MacDonald onto an apprenticeship, being at such a young age, I get it's quite incredible to be working on some of these fantastic projects.
Oh, it is 100%, and the community is amazing. That's what I think in Mott MacDonald. They really, really value their employees. So, having everyone around you and being able to ask loads of questions and queries, and they really do encourage that. So you have a full understanding of what you're doing, and then you feel really, really comfortable in your role. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I guess, Kerai, you mentioned the HS2, so probably one of the biggest construction projects going on in the UK at the moment. What's your kind of involvement with that?
So my involvement varies quite a lot. So start off with the standard design, designing it, and then presenting my design to the clients, people in other teams, and them asking questions about it. So I've worked on it from the start and almost to the end, and I know it's getting built on site now. So it's quite amazing just to see that what I've been doing for the 6 months of that particular asset is now actually getting built, and it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, no, and I guess being on such a huge project, I guess you've probably learnt a lot in terms of new skills, and maybe what's some of the key things that you've learnt working on such a project like that?
I think the biggest thing I think I've grown on is like my communication skills. So, you know, everyone thinks that you're all sitting in a silo working by yourself, but you're not. Like, as an apprentice, you would think that, you know, everyone assumes that, you know, you'll be doing the same thing every day. You're not. So, for example, one day I could be just purely modelling after speaking to everyone, and another day I could be in a meeting, in a workshop for the whole day with people from all over the country working on different disciplines, all trying to get the same outcome. So contributing to big discussions is quite a big thing in what we do.
No, and I think doing all of your apprenticeships, you learn so many skills that you might not necessarily directly link to the job, but indirectly you're picking up some great kind of communication skills, team working, client liaison. So I mean, I think doing these apprenticeships is fantastic in terms of actually building your own personal skills as well. But I guess, Paul, you mentioned at the start about that you're implementing some really cool technology into Mott MacDonald in terms of how that is making you work more efficiently in some of the projects that you're working on. So it would be great to hear some of the technologies that you're implementing in your role.
Yeah, well, in the role of information management, we are delving into AI a little bit. You're looking at AI being able to sort of check models. Obviously with AI, it's a very sort of a tough topic, I think, for some people. It's very sort of, the boundaries are sort of very unknown, but I think at the moment the sort of policy that Mott's is following is you want to sort of use it as a tool. You want to keep the engineers in control, and you sort of want it to just be sort of another one of these tools that you're using. And I think that we're doing that. So with the model checking, that's involving AI at the moment, and some of my team are looking into that, which is interesting. In terms of what I've done, a lot of it is also just sort of like creating materials and making people feel more comfortable with digital technology. So a lot of this involves a process that we like to call change management. So that's looking at implementing changes and sort of the process of behind getting people on the project like used to a change. So it's sort of looking at making them understand why the change needs to happen, you know, thinking about the different ways that people might learn and then trying to apply it and just give out a very sort of good solution. So we've sort of implemented that a little bit with this onboarding app we're developing for the project I'm on at the moment, East West Rail. So this is an app right now, the onboarding process, it's all sort of done within forms and stuff. And what we're sort of looking to do with this onboarding app is automate it all and just make it so that you just need to enter the metadata and all these forms will be filled out for you. It just saves a bunch of time. And if we can make it useful, as long, you know, it can be sort of something that's quite revolutionary on a project. It can save time for people. Yeah,
and it could obviously also save a lot of money as well in the future. And I guess you've spoken a little bit about AI. I mean, what do you think about AI and how do you think that's maybe transforming the industry that you're in at the moment?
Well, I think it's definitely transforming it. You know, you've got stuff like Copilot, which is very useful. I think AI at the moment, it's sort of at a very early stage. It's sort of looking at how we can use it, but I think it is something that is going to come into the industry. But I think the important thing from my point of view is that we keep sort of the control of it. We keep it as almost like a vehicle to success, really. It's almost like a car. I know cars are sort of driving themselves now a bit, but there's always a human sort of in the passenger seat, and it gets you to places faster. But it's about using it as a tool and keeping our minds sort of as like decision makers. I think that's really important.
No, absolutely. And I think, you know, being at Mott MacDonald, one of the largest engineering and construction firms in the world, you're doing so varied kind of roles and jobs. I think it's great to show the students at home that, you know, you don't just have to be an engineer. You could go into the technology side of things. You could go into the construction side of things. So I think it's great to really showcase all of the different kind of roles that Mott MacDonald offer. But I want you to kind of think back to when you were kind of back in school in year 13, considering your options. Why did you choose to do an apprenticeship? I mean, what was kind of like the motivations around you guys wanting to go onto one of these programs? And it's an open question, but maybe Tamzin, do you want to start?
No, I did a very different course. So I obviously did high school, and then I went off to college. I didn't stay at sixth form, so I did a level 3 BTEC qualification extended in business studies. So it gave me kind of the wide range of all the different type of business opportunities there were out there. Project management kind of stuck with me. I really loved the idea when I was researching into it. So I personally just wanted to get into the world of work. I do love studying, but at the same time, I'm just more of like a hands-on type of person, trying to get involved as much as I can. I did the IODs, which is the Institute of Directors. So I went on a lot of courses on there, and kind of when people were talking about their jobs in the world of work, I was like, right, that's what I want to go into. Yeah. So how can I do this? And I still wanted to get my degree. So I found the level 6 degree apprenticeship, and that's kind of how I kind of found my way into it after researching online. So using like the government platform to search for apprenticeships, and Indeed kind of offer loads of opportunities as well, and then just started applying. And I think the main thing is go and talk to like the people. So I got into contact with someone at Mott MacDonald and went, right, I'm really interested, but what is project management? What do you do? And kind of gone in, well, after talking to someone, I thought, okay, now I definitely know this is what I want to do. So yeah, and then did all the interview process and everything, and was very fortunate to be offered a job. Yeah,
so. Yeah, no, that's great. And I know you just mentioned about actually reaching out to someone who worked there, and I think, you know, getting that insider knowledge. And was it LinkedIn you used at the time, or how did you get that connection?
It was, so I kind of went on LinkedIn, and I was actually very fortunate. So I found it myself, and then I was like talking to my dad about it, and he says, oh, in my work I've actually worked with an engineer from Mott, so I'll see if I can get in contact with them. So then they said, oh, I know a project manager, and it was like going deeper and deeper, and they're all so lovely. So I talked to him, and he said, this is what my role is, and I went, that sounds brilliant. So then that's when, okay, I'm going to proceed with my application. They didn't have an input, obviously, in me getting the role, but it was just talking to someone and having an idea of what the company did. And then before accepting, I actually asked, can I go in the offices and meet people and everything? And so, yeah, I came in for a day, walked around the office, met the team I would be working with, and yeah, just had loads of conversations, and it just kind of made me feel a bit more comfortable into the world of work I'll be going in, so I wasn't just blindsided.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing, and I think, you know, always value the networks that you've got, you know, so it was through one of your dad's connections that he knew someone, and then his dad connection knew the right person you wanted to kind of get in touch with. No, so that's really great advice.
I definitely say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and networking is the most important thing, just trying to speak to as many people as possible and having that communication.
Yeah, no, and I guess, Sharad, I'm going to come over to you. I mean, why did you choose to do an apprenticeship? And it would be great to talk maybe a little bit about your degree apprenticeship. I mean, what is a degree apprenticeship for everyone at home?
So for the first bit, I sort of stumbled across apprenticeships, so they weren't really spoken about in school, but it was suggested to me by a family friend that, you know, they knew that I wasn't always going to go into that uni path, and I always knew it was never really for me. And like the hands-on learning that I get from an apprenticeship, I think is quite key. So like what I learn in uni and what I apply at work, it's like on a Monday where I go uni, I've learned something, and the Tuesday it's quite easy for me to apply it, which is quite like, you know, and then from what I have learned at work, I can apply it into uni. It's like it's quite across paths quite a lot, which is good. And even like the people that we work with. So like parts of my uni course, I can ask someone at work because we've got those technical experts, and everyone's always willing to help. I think a big key thing is that I think all three of us always got told is there's no such thing as a silly question. Always asking the question because someone else is obviously going to be thinking of it. So yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think it's great that on your apprenticeship program, you're going to university, you're learning kind of like the theory, but then immediately the day after, you're implementing that theory into your work. You know, which is a great opportunity for students that might be looking for that combination of practical and obviously the learning piece. But in terms of your degree apprenticeship, am I right in thinking that you're not paying for your degree, are you? It's fully
it is fully funded for. So that is one of the big wins I think I've got out of the apprenticeship. So, you know, I get paid to work 5 days a week. One of those days I'm going to uni for free. You know, I go there, do all my studying for the day. I'm getting paid for being there. I come home, do my assignments, everything's logged. It was a sort of a no-brainer for me. You know, you leave uni with a debt. With an apprenticeship, I've left with a job. So I'm winning already.
You've left with a job and a professional qualification.
Yeah, 100%.
As well.
100%.
As well, and I guess you're on kind of like the technical side of things. What's your apprenticeship about in terms of what you're studying?
Well, I guess a lot of it really is about the industry standards and all the different ways of implementing it. So it's about these standards called the ISO 9650 standards, and it basically just outlines how a digital project should be implemented. And it's about looking at all the different ways of like how like it's implemented in all the tools that we use, and it's sort of like enforcing that standard, I guess, and building digital tools off that. So a lot of it will sort of be study around that, and I find it very interesting because you sort of look at that study and you don't really realise how far you've come till someone, I guess, comes like until you're sort of in a meeting and you say something and you're like, wow, I knew that. It's great.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, just thinking back to when you guys were in school, and obviously maybe this might have been one of the first job applications that you made. I mean, what was the recruitment process like to get into Mott MacDonald? I mean, what sort of things did you have to go through? I know, Paul, you're recently on your program.
Yeah. No, I am. Yeah. So it was very sort of like quick with it, but I think what all it started with was the application which you send off. Then they came back to you. You had to do some online assignments, just sort of getting an idea of how you think and stuff. It was sort of like different, I guess, like online. It was almost like games almost that you'd sort of do, and it would sort of test your thinking. And then eventually you'd get onto like the actual, like a recorded interview where you'd get some recorded questions, you'd answer those, sort of like very sort of like open-ended questions that you could record a 30-minute clip about. Then after that, someone would review those. So the process keeps getting smaller and smaller till you get to the final interviews. And yeah, I did the final interviews about 2 months after I'd applied. It was sort of a really quick turnover, I'd say, compared to like what I was getting from other apprenticeships I was applying for. So it was just really quick. The interview was like really good. I had done my research. I'd say that's a very important thing I'd stress to everyone listening is if you are going to apply for like a company, make sure you do your research, make sure you're telling them about what they do, because they love that. That shows them that you're engaged and you want to work for them. And that's what they want at the end of the day. They don't care about your sort of what your knowledge. They care about sort of, I guess, the mindset of you in a way. Obviously, they want you to have a bit of base knowledge and interest, but I think at the end of the day, they're looking to grow you. So it's important the person that they can see a person that's got room to grow.
No, that's really great advice, Paul. And I think in terms of actually researching the company, I mean, there must be hundreds, if not thousands, of projects that Mott MacDonald are kind of involved with at any one time. So I guess actually, you know, probably researching a project in the local area to where they're applying to would be some good advice to give. But in terms of your apprenticeship, so you're kind of all on your apprenticeship program now. What's it like actually working at Mott MacDonald? I mean, is there any socials you get involved with? How many other youngsters are there within your program? And this is kind of an open question to all of you.
I mean, Motts have a lot of graduates as well, so people who do come from university. So there is quite a young team, but they involve us in these like apprentice cohort programs. So as well as your job, you do these, so you get a chance to meet all the other apprentices within the company, which is lovely. So they're all off across the country as well. So you've got ones from like up in Edinburgh, and then Leeds, Manchester, Bristol, and it's just really collaborative. And the I just love Mott MacDonald's initiative, and they really do care about their employees. So it's a very social environment. And like in the offices, I'm mainly in on like a Tuesday and a Thursday because you've got that flexible work from home. And then when everyone's in on Thursday, they do like to go for a drink afterwards, you know, have a bit of a laugh, you know, get to know each other outside of work. So it's a really relaxed environment, and just, absolutely love you've got the people around you. Yeah, no, but that's great. And you mentioned a little bit about hybrid working. So I know that a lot of young people will probably be thinking about like what's their work structure like. I know that you all go to university 1 day a week, so you're at uni 1 day a week and you go into the office 2 days a week? Yes, 2 to 3 days dependent. So if I'm on site one of the days, I'll go in the office the other 2 days. So it's really, really flexible, and that's what's really great about Mott MacDonald is they give you that flexibility. No, and I guess maybe Sharad, what does a typical week or day look like for you at Mott MacDonald?
So a typical day does vary so much, which I think is really cool. So if we go for a typical day of me being in the office, because I think that's my highlight of the week, we'll start off in the morning, like the whole team, before we log in, we'll all catch up, see how everyone's doing, how's everyone's weekends, and then we'll start off with all the meetings that everyone's got, your various meetings in person, online, team lunch together, all the modelling and stuff that you do during your working hours. and then modelling, speaking to people. I speak to people all over the world, so I work here from India, have a call with them in the morning about, you know, helping me helping them. And then if it's a Thursday, we do go out quite a lot, so every Thursday or every other Thursday we go out for a drink or go out for a meal. Our team does like a birthday thing, so whenever it's someone's birthday, we all go out for a proper meal, all sitting down together. So yeah, it does vary.
And is that paid for by Mott MacDonald?
Some of them are, some of them are. So our Christmas party is paid for by Mott, so we love our Christmas parties. So last year we went F1 arcade, and then we went to somewhere to eat. And even like the things that not a lot of teams do. So our team, we meet each other outside of work, like not even on a work day. So recently we went to one of our colleagues' house for a Chinese New Year celebration. So it wasn't just the people we work with, it's their partners, their kids, their pets. So it's like a whole, I'd say like a family when you join your team.
And you know what, I think that's such a really nice culture to be able to not just work with your colleagues during work hours, but actually being able to socialise with them on the outside. And you know, I think a lot of young people at home will be looking at that social kind of aspect, because a lot of them, if they go off to university, they get all the social life, but actually it seems like at Mott MacDonald you actually absolutely get that social and kind of family feel to being there. But I guess in terms of something really interesting that you picked up on is that you have calls with India and all over the world. So I guess the perks of working for such a global organisation, you get to work globally.
I think that's pretty cool. Like, because when I'm talking to colleagues in India, they're willing to teach you. So I've had like over a week, like an hour each day of a senior colleague like teaching me about highways design, and he took that time out to teach me. And at the end of it, he said, "I'm going to quiz you," and I thought he was joking. And he genuinely gave me a small quiz just to make sure that he was teaching me what he promised. And whatever I had gaps on, he just made sure that he helped me, support me that bit further.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I guess, Paul, what top tip, I guess, kind of could you give a young person looking to embark on a career at Mott MacDonald? I mean, what sort of kind of insights could you give our students here?
I guess what I would say is just be passionate about what you do and make sure what you're going into is what you enjoy, and you'll be fine, because everyone at Mott MacDonald, like, they enjoy what they do. Everyone's passionate. It's really good, and you can sort of feel like you can speak to anyone. But I think the important thing is just find something that you're going to enjoy at the end of the day, and that's sort of the bottom line for me. And I think once you find that, you can find, you know, most of the time people will be able to feel your passion, and they'll take you on. That's really good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess, Tamzin, what kind of top tip would you give our students?
I would just say be yourself. That is the main thing, and that is what they want. So like in your interview process, they want you to have a chat with them, you know, not just about work, but kind of in general in life things, trying to find out what you love doing and all of this, because you'll normally connect with someone. But it is just be solely yourself and just go in with it full force, be really passionate about it, you know, and actually show that you want to be there.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and some fantastic advice. And I guess finally, Sharad, with yourself, what top tip could you give the students here?
As has been said, being genuine, like in being interviewed and being an interviewer. Like when I interview these apprentices, like my line manager lets me do that. Like, we look at, you know, what you're going to be like with the team. So like being genuine and like, you know, being like honest on who you are, because that's who we want to know. And at the end of the day, you'll be working with us. And as I said, like, it's a Mott MacDonald family. So, you know, we want everyone to feel comfortable in where they're working.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for joining me here today on the Young Professionals podcast. It's been really kind of interesting for me to hear more about Mott MacDonald, but ultimately how the students at home who are probably listening to this, considering their options, how they could maybe be working with you guys in the future. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.